Good afternoon, everyone. Shamefully, the Democrats have put us into another government shutdown. This is day 25 of the shutdown for the Department of Homeland Security. We have tried repeatedly to engage them on a path forward. The White House has attempted to do that. By the way, the White House submitted their last offer to the Democrats 12 days ago. 12 days ago, no response. And so, here we are with important agencies of government that have vital national security and homeland security roles, people not getting paid. You're starting to see the lines at the airports because TSA employees aren't getting paid. Obviously, cybersecurity falls under the jurisdiction of the Department of Homeland Security, border security. You can go right down the list. FEMA, these are agencies that have a profound impact on the safety and security of the American people. And the Democrats have opted to, in the most cynical way, play politics. I mean, how much more cynical can you get than to play politics with issues that affect homeland security? But that seems to be where they are. Obviously, we're going to do everything we can to continue to make the case that we need to get DHS opened up. In fact, Senator Britt last week offered a couple different times unanimous consent requests to fund that department and those agencies, and to allow additional time for discussion with the Democrats so we could at least get into the negotiation, and they resisted that as well. So every attempt that we have made to sit down and try and get this Department of Homeland Security appropriations bill across the finish line has been rebuffed by the Democrats with prejudice. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how you can sustain that position or defend that position in light of everything that's going on in the world and the dangerous situation the United States finds itself in. But I want to hand it off now to Senator Britt, who chairs the subcommittee on appropriations that has jurisdiction over the Department of Homeland Security, and let her share her thoughts and observations with you. Katie.
Thank you, Leader Thune. It's a disappointing day. We are 39 days past when we decided we would do a 2-week CR, which we gave the Democrats in good faith to be able to have a conversation about the proper way to fund the Department of Homeland Security moving forward. We are now 25 days into a government shutdown with a department that is actually charged with keeping Americans safe. We have seen what's happening across our country. We also know that there is the ability to have increased threats. And the agency, whether it be Coast Guard, TSA, CISA, Secret Service, CBP, and ICE have gone unfunded. This is reckless, and it's disingenuous. Here they are telling you they want to see reforms. But I am here to tell you that they have not come to the table. Despite countless offers to sit down and try to find a pathway forward, they will not even have a conversation with us. So you are 39 days past when we decided this pathway forward and agreed to them to work on this, and they have not sat down one time. Folks, that means that this is all about politics. It was never about people. We stand here ready to put the safety of Americans in front of that, and I would hope our Democratic colleagues would do the same. But at the very least, they must answer for that. Not being willing to have a conversation, not being willing to figure out a pathway forward. We certainly are. We stand ready to do that. We stand ready to do what's right for the American people.
Questions for Senator Britt?
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's great. There you go.
You explained it really well.
Leader Thune, do you run a risk of being on the wrong side of President Trump in your resistance to do this talking filibuster, tying the Senate in knots for weeks?
We don't have the votes either to proceed, get on a talking filibuster, nor to sustain one if we got on it. But that is just a function of math, and there isn't anything I can do about that. I mean, I understand the president's got a passion to see this issue addressed, as we all do.
Does he understand that, though?
Well, we've conveyed that to him, but we'll continue to make that argument because I think it's important that everybody understand that this really is about the votes, it's about the math, and I'm for better or worse, I'm the one who has to be the clear-eyed realist about what we can achieve here. And so we'll continue to convey that, and And I think that we're going to have the fight on the floor. We're going to vote on this. We're going to put it up, and we'll give the Democrats the opportunity to cast their vote on whether or not they think non-citizens ought to vote in American elections. And so that debate will happen. But like I said, I can guarantee the debate. I can guarantee a vote. I just can't guarantee an outcome.
When can we expect?
Ms. Leader, President Trump told me yesterday that it would take Democratic votes to pass the Save America Act. Do you think the MAGA base has an unrealistic expectation of passing that legislation without Democrat support?
I think there are a lot of optimistic views about what Democrats may or may not do. We all know, because we deal with them every day, that the Democrats are not all of a sudden going to decide that this is something they want to be for. So yeah, again, I mean, I think you have a lot of optimists out there, and I appreciate that, and a lot of passion and energy behind getting an outcome here. But getting an outcome would require Democrat votes, and you know, we'll give them a chance. Like I said, they'll have that opportunity to vote one way or the other on this. But I would be very, very surprised.
Does it make it more difficult that the president keeps adding pieces of policy to this legislation? Would it be better if you just had a straight up or down vote on photo ID or citizenship, for instance?
We certainly want to vote on the issues that came over from the House. The president has since that time added some additional components to his request, which we will figure out a way to get votes on as well. But obviously, I think the core issue with respect to the Save America Act is ensuring that non-citizens aren't voting in American elections, that only citizens are voting in our elections, and that they have to be citizens to register to vote, and they have to be citizens to vote.
Based on what you said about the political nature of this debate, it seems like you're caught between the two big issues of keeping the government funded, DHS, and dealing with the voting issue in SAVE. Do you feel that at this point you may have reached a legislative stalemate in this body where it's very hard to get anything done? And then what happens to other bills down the line that may be in the queue soon that have less profile, like the Farm Bill?
I think a lot of these are going to be, I mean, we're going to have a vote on the floor later today, and we will wrap up this week the Road to Housing Act, which will get, hopefully, close to 90 votes on the floor of the Senate. So very bipartisan, very bicameral. Both House and Senate, Republicans and Democrats had input into it. There are issues, I think, that transcend the political climate and environment we're in. But I think it's a reality that we all deal with. And the issue of DHS funding, in my view, should be a reflection of the fact that we can do basic things around here that help our government to function. And I think both sides, Republicans and Democrats of our constituents out there, believe that should be the case. Because the Democrats have dug in on this, I think, you know, we have tried repeatedly, as has been said, to reach out to them, to engage them, get them at the table, and to find out what it is exactly that they want. And I think the White House has been very, in my view, open, and have demonstrated a lot of outreach in an attempt to try and get a deal. But what that means down the road, I don't know. I mean, farm bills in the past have been bipartisan. There are other issues that I think should be bipartisan. There are some really good conversations happening right now on permitting reform, which frankly is an issue that I think there should be a bipartisan support for as well. So we're not closing the door on anything. The Democrats, their obstinance on the issue of funding the government, like I said, it's hard for me to understand or explain because we've got a very willing team here that's ready to sit down and negotiate with them. And as of right now, at least, they're just completely blocking it. And at some point, you're going to pay a price for that.
On the war line, President Trump and
$900 million a day by one estimate. What do you say to Americans who feel that that money could be better spent on other priorities? And do you have any update on the size of the potential supplemental appropriations request from the White House?
The question was on the amount being spent on the military. Okay.
Yep.
Well, $900 million in a day is a significant number, but fortunately, a lot of us in anticipation of the need to upgrade our national security capabilities last summer as part of the Working Families Tax Cuts Act put significant increase in funding for defense. And so I think we are well positioned. If you listen to our military leadership, we get an opportunity on a regular basis to get briefed by General Kane and others. And I think we are in a good place and achieving an objective that frankly is long overdue. I mean, I think this is something that is generational in terms of its impact, not only for that region, but for the entire world, because they continued, Iran, to be the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world. They are on their way to a nuclear capability, and they're holding that entire region hostage, and American interests as well. So I think this was an important mission to accomplish, and hopefully it'll be accomplished soon.
Senator Brett, what's your concern about a terrorist